Hello, my friends. Good afternoon to you. Today, I started my video late because I had things to do. So somehow or the other, I managed to get some time to do a video today. And this video is actually close to my heart and a very sensitive subject. And some people might have difficulty listening to it. So just be forewarned with that. But I definitely want to share this thought that I feel is very imperative in today's world. And how do we deal with this? First of all, it's nothing to do with your demographics or who you are as your race or whatever it is. This is a person of individuality. And so kindly understand that and take this video to the level you feel is appropriate for you and all the people who you want to share with. Today, I want to talk about bullying. And this subject has been a very hot topic in schools, in different types of settings, but it mostly happens in the school. And I have my few thoughts why we have this situation in the world and why we are so having that chaotic sense around us is because the people we surround ourselves with. Bullying is just not somebody, in my definition, I would say is somebody who is dissatisfied with themselves and don't know what they want to do in life are actually the bullies. Because when they see somebody successful or somebody is in peace with themselves, they want to disturb that. And they want to cause a chaos and have a control over because they can control their lives. A narcissist attitude. I was watching Britain Has Talent, and I'm sure a lot of you have watched that. America's Got Talent is another one of their offshoot from that. And there was a contestant who came on, and this was America's Got Talent. Simon Cowell is the one who actually asked the question is, why are you want to play the violin? Because that's what he was going to perform with. And he was only 11 and a half years old. And when I heard his story, I was literally blown away, and I was sad. But at the same time, feeling to see him on the stage was amazing for me. The sad part was how cruel the world is. He had cancer that's the sad part, is at the age of 7. And his mom said that kids made fun of him. And he said that as well, that in class he would go, they would tease him and they said, you have disease and give us your disease and, you need to stay away from us, because he had shaved his head. He had to. And he was suffering and he didn't know how to channel all this. And he found violin to take that frustration and anger and sadness of his heart and his life and learn how to play a violin. And next thing you know, the way he played, he blew me away. But, he blew the judges away too. But something that Simon Cowell said, and along the lines of first what I said, is a bully is a person who is dissatisfied with themselves. And so for them to make themselves feel better, they go after people who are good, successful, and doing better. And I felt it was awesome that one of the judges pushed the golden buzzer. And Simon said this. He said, today, we're going to make history for all the bullies out there to show your attitude doesn't pay. But the attitude that this child had was amazing, that he was still humble and he was feeling proud of his accomplishment. And that kind of a person we are actually all are. But I find it is the problem starts in the home, in the society. And what I mean to say by that is, in old days, it took a village to raise a child. In today's world, we are all so busy. Parents have to go to work, 2 jobs, or whatever they have things to do. So a child is left alone. The TV is raising them, and they don't know how to act. And first of all, they are facing their own issues with the family. And then they see another family that is doing better or put together. They're jealous. They're upset that why can't I have that what this child has? So these things all start at that age when we are being raised in home. But talking a little bit further about this is, a bully is just not a child. We have bullies in today's world as adults. We have bullies in our family. And I have experienced that is, I know one of the family members, they are literally a bully. They are. Now, over the years, they have mellowed down a bit, but if the things didn't go their way, they would attack. I mean, sometimes physically attack people because they are so narcissist. And now, I don't know, they might be schizophrenic, or we never tested for anything like that. But the attitude is that you do what I tell you to do, and they want to be in control. And that's one of the characteristics of a bully is they want to be in charge. They want to be known because they are not satisfied with themselves, and they want to project that out by saying, you are no good, so I am going to attack you and you're going to submit to me. And now, I'm not a psychologist or anything, but I have enough understanding of a human behavior. And that's something we see, as like I said, in adults, we see it in our society with CEOs of the company, employers, employee. In religion, people use religion to dominate people, the followers. And sometimes say, like, if you don't believe this, I'm going to do this to you or do that to you. So it all bottles down to how we are nurtured in a child, as a child. And if we are not properly nurtured and made understood that the behaviors we display is not good, that's why our prisons are full. Our juvenile court system is kind of, slap on the wrist, go out. But I think if we control the behaviors when they are very little, we have greater chances of less cells being filled in the prison, and, less juvenile system have to work with, because we are training and nurturing child to walk in the way they should go. I understand that today's world, we have to have 2 full-time jobs to make ends meet, and it is very difficult for parents to be at home, nurture the child. In the old days, things were a little bit different, that somebody stayed home, of course. But because of the inflation, because of the things we want, we pawn off kids to somebody else. And if not, we put them in front of the TV. And what they're feeding themselves, we don't know. But we just hand them a remote and we are gone. And when they display a certain behavior, we are not consistent enough. We may punish them for one time, but we never are consistent in saying, like, this is not a right attitude. This is not the behavior you display. But as parents, when we stop taking responsibility for our kids, the world is going to teach them a different way. Or their understanding of why I'm not being treated like Joe down the street. His parents take care of him. They do things, so they listen to him. They talk to him. My parents don't have time for me. And so they display all this attitude to the other. They project it to the others. So if we take one step back and look at the picture, instead of blaming the kids and projecting our anger towards them, let's project the anger towards us. But us as adults, us as parents, what are we doing to reach? And I know the system is flawed. If we make full effort, and I think on my previous video, I said, there is God's list and there is our list. Our list, we need to project and emulate God's love and kindness and generosity towards our children, so then they can emulate that to others. But if we are being selfish, we are gossiping, sitting down and gossiping with them about our neighbors and all this, they're being fed, how are they going to be? They are going to be exactly like us because we are their role models, or the TV is the role model. And this is the true fact. And yes, I might have a different opinion from you, and I'm not saying that you're wrong and I'm right. I'm just giving you my thought process because I see that a lot. And today, it's so bad to the point is that educators are afraid to educate kids because they are threatened. Their life is threatened. Now, on the flip side of the coin, some educators, the kids are afraid of because the educators were the bulliers when they were kids. So now they attack the child that they teach and say, you are stupid. You are useless. Just imagine how that child must feel if they made a mistake, and we all make, but if they are degraded to the level, they have no hope. And when they don't have hope, it's like a cat being cornered. When they have nowhere to go, they are going to pounce on you. They're going to attack you because they feel, I have nowhere to go and I got to save myself. And that's what happens in child's mind. But then those children display it to other kids in school. So I feel like the bullying happens at home because parents, they do not filter themselves when they talk. Now, we are adults, we say things, but you know what? We as adults, we do. We're the biggest bully. We're sitting in the house, we're talking about somebody else. Oh, look how they're funny they are. Oh, how fat they are. Oh, how ugly they are. Oh, look, they don't dress nicely. Oh, look at that. They can't even talk properly. These are just observations as adults we make, and maybe we are not even meaning any harm. But the child who listens to that, guess what? He is going and telling something that he doesn't like about, oh, your dress looks horrible. Your shoes are no good. Now, the child who comes with shoes that's half torn because his family or her family can't afford it, and then you start making fun of them, guess what happens? You have created a monster. Now, other kids join that and say, yeah, you're stupid, you're this, you look ugly, you're not dressing right, you don't know fashion. All those hurtful things are said. But where did it start? It started at home. We as adults, the conversation we have with one another and are allowing our kids to listen to, or in the box we have in our living room, have them sit in front and let them watch the garbage that comes out. And obviously they display that. So if you're going to program your child to do something well, teach them to be loving, kindness, generous, lifting one another. You know how difficult it is for somebody to say thank you and please in today's world? I have experienced that. I have given somebody a gift, child. They have not even said thank you. They just took the gift and walked away. Why? Because the parents never taught them to say thank you. And sometimes they want something, they just grab it. They don't even ask, may I have this? You see, so if we are going to blame the kids first, let's blame ourselves and say, like, we have not been good examples to the world, to our children. And once we start reflecting on ourselves and change our behavior, we are going to be a better example for our kids and start creating a new generation of children who are going to be one who will be lifting one another. And by that, we'll create unity. So that child who was on America's Talent will never feel, a child like that will never feel that his sickness, cancer, was considered as a disease that was contagious, and everybody, and they isolated him. They didn't want to be around him. They made fun of the way he looked because he shaved his head. He couldn't help it. So empathy, kindness, sympathy, nothing is shown today in the world. And I am sometimes shocked that today's teens, if they get a job, they don't show up to work on time and they have an excuse. And if they don't want to work, they don't even call and say, can I have the day off? Or I have some, they just don't show up. But because the attitude has been displayed at home, now, I'm not saying that it's always the case. Some parents are awesome. They do everything. But be consistent. Punishing them one time and not, or say I'm not punishing in the sense of holding them accountable for one time is not a lifetime thing. It's a consistency until they develop the habit of being kind, generous, respectful, honoring, lifting up one another. Those are the attributes that is gonna help our generation and the next, if the Lord tarries. But I know that it's a very, very difficult, because the system that we live in today, our leaders display that on TV every day, how they demean each other or say horrible things about one another. They think, oh, we want to tell this person did this person did that. Then the other person will say, oh, they did such a bad thing. They're horrible people. Well, none of us are saints. We all have come short of the glory of God. None of us are perfect. But we are trying to be better people every day. And that's why I could talk on bullying for days. And there are a lot of things I want to share. But one thing I will tell you is, bully is a person who wants to control and take charge. Even in a relationship, a spouse, one spouse can be so domineering, whether it's a wife or a husband, to the other. And they are so critical, rather than saying, hey, you were not able to do that, let me help you, or coming along, is being a team as a spouse. No, that is your job. Mowing the lawn is your job. So you go outside and mow the lawn. My job is to cook the meal. And I'm saying, but what if the wife says, hey, I'll go mow the lawn. And the husband say, hey, let me cook some dinner for you. Or let me do the laundry. We don't want to do that, because we have isolated our identity by who we are. Oh, I'm a male gender, I'm going to do this. I'm a woman, I'm going to do this. And this narcissist personality comes with us segregating ourselves in the equation of a relationship of you are a man, I'm a woman, and so forth. But if we come as a team, it doesn't matter what job we do or what we do. Years ago, when I was a stay-home dad, I got such flack from people, family members, friends. Oh, you're a guy, you should go get the bacon. And she should be home taking care of the house. And I was like, really? We are in 21st century and you're telling me this? But my wife and I, we had an agreement. Whoever makes a lot of money to control the expenses that come in, let that person work. And if, so I wasn't making as much money as my wife. My wife was making more money. We had an agreement. Okay, I will stay home. And I tried to be the best dad I can be. Now, I had a lot of faults, a lot of things to learn. I did my best. The only person who can say I was a good dad or a bad dad is my daughter. She can say, was I genuinely a good father? I will say I'm a good father, and I know I am because I gave up my career. I could have put her in a daycare, genuinely, and had gobs of money, but I chose to raise her with the values. Now, whether she follows those values or not, that's not my issue. That's between her and God. But I'm sure in some way in the back of her mind that she knows what I expected out of her, what I wanted her to be. I always taught her to respect people, be kind, be generous. And to what level she does that, that's up to her. But I never got a phone call or somebody saying that, oh, your daughter did this, come to the principal's office. Never happened throughout her school, because I was involved in the school and with her because that's what I chose to do. So I don't want this video to go too long, so I'm going to stop here. But you have to identify, are you a bully or are you being bullied in today's world? As an adult, if you go to work and your boss treats you horribly, then you can understand he's just a bully. Now, of course, you're not doing your job and bucking authority and so forth. You got to be responsible for yourself. So be mindful, not saying like, oh, he yelled, but why is he yelling or what? He shouldn't be yelling anyway. But if you're being reprimanded or if your hours are being cut or you're not getting raises, you have to look at yourself and say, am I performing to my best? Am I giving the company the job they have hired me to do? So you have to look at that as well. But look at your surrounding. Look at your spouse. Are you being the bully or they are being the bully? If you are not able to gel and encourage one another or lift one another, then we are not going to be able to change this bullying ever, because it starts with us. We got to take an account of if there is something that we feel our behaviors are proving to be impacting the world in a negative way, then we got to change. We got to change ourselves. So our children can see the character in us and say, I want to be like dad. I want to be like mom. I want to be like my uncle, my aunt, that they're so kind. They're so loving. Let's show them the fruits of who we are, but if we are gossiping and putting people down and talking bad about them in front of our children, then you are going to see the effects of that and you are going to pay for that. You know what? When the car gets vandalized, when the grocery prices are going up, it's why? Because those kids have become teens now, adults. They're stealing, they're doing things because there was nobody to give them love, kindness, generosity, did not show them the path. And just showing them once is not a thing, it's a consistency. And with that, I would say, if you're consistent in doing good, you're going to see the results of good. If you're being consistent in showing bad ways, that's what you're going to get. So what you sow is what you reap, in a nutshell. So understand, bullying is not only in schools and child's life, it's adults, and we are facing that in today's world. So how do we adjust ourselves in today's world? We will definitely talk about it. If you have anything inside of what I've said and you feel can help the community, please do share in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Have a wonderful day. If you like this channel, please like, subscribe, and share. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.